When you hear people talk about Ronaldo, most likely the first thing you'll hear is, if only he did not have all those injuries. But even with that, he still managed to have an all-time career, and the Brazilian almost completed football before he turned 23. To have so many accolades at such a young age, was, and still is unheard of. From becoming a hot prospect in Brazil while playing for Cruzeiro, then scoring for fun in the Dutch league. His first 4 years as a professional were spectacular, which landed him in Barcelona, where he scored 47 goals in 49 matches, won multiple trophies, and just like that, quickly like that, he became the best in the world. A contract dispute caused Ronaldo to have a difficult relationship with FC Barcelona, and also he knew where the glory was at that time. It was in Serie A. Italy was the destination where the best players were either created or arrived. So, it was logical for him to move there. Inter Milan cashed out, and brought the best player on the planet, in their team for a record transfer fee of €26.5 million. Speaking of planets, the world quickly found out that Ronaldo can play like he's out of this planet. His otherworldly athleticism, rapid speed, and magical technique mesmerized the football fans all across the globe. To know why this season is so impressive for the phenomenon, you have to look and compare the squad that FC Inter had, and the other title contenders. It's not like Inter were not good or anything, but Juventus, Milan, Lazio, and Parma were stacked with many superstars. Remove Ronaldo from the team and now there's no chance they can fight with the best. But, that was the difference. Inter maybe didn't have the most stacked roster, but they had the best player. From a football fan's perspective, the fact that R9 didn't have too much support was awesome, because he got complete freedom to do whatever he wanted, and by doing that, he created one of the most spectacular highlight reels filled with crazy dribbles. There's many stories from fans in Italy who say that whenever R9 got the ball, the whole stadium stopped, because they knew they're going to witness something special. The previous season, Ronaldo was having more support, playing with Pep Guardiola, Luis Figo, Stoichkov, Giovanni etc. He wasn't involved in the midfield as much. Meanwhile at Inter, a lot of times during a match, he even played as a midfielder, receiving the ball far away from the area in which usually the strikers run. He revolutionized the way strikers play, but even nowadays you don't see a striker do what R9 was doing in the 1997-98 season, taking the ball from his half, and dribbling past the helpless defenders. Credit to his teammates, they knew that even though Ronaldo was helping out in the attack build-up, they understood that his striker instincts mean that most of the time he got the ball, he will immediately try to create something, compared to the midfielders who like to do 2 or 3 safe passes before they go forward. Inter had Simeone to do that role, of a defensive midfielder. Now that we established how things were in Inter Milan, let's look at the season accomplishments, team and individual. Comparing the stats with the previous season in Barca, it's clear that the 96-97 season is more statistically impressive, but the fact that the Italian league was better at the time has to be considered. Ronaldo did not receive that much of a clear-cut chances in front of the goal, and also he was facing ferocious defenders every single week. Dribbling so much doesn't help. No matter the era, if you dribble the most, you're going to get fouled the most. Being fouled with careless tackles all the time obviously became one of the reasons why he couldn't get healthy later in his career. No player in history was fouled as much, and what's crazy is a lot of those tackles did not even result in a yellow card. And what's even crazier is to see for how many of those tackles, he barely even reacted. Being so fast and strong at the same time was unbelievable. Looking at all of these factors makes this individual season legendary. Ronaldo as an individual became not only the most famous footballer, but also the biggest global star in the world. R9 was so popular, even the rivals' fans cheered for him. When it comes to team success, Inter were considered favorites to win the tournament, but Inter outplayed them, and the phenomenon closed out his iconic performance with a trademark one-on-one dribble against a goalkeeper. The phenomenon was all over the pitch for the entire season. What's interesting is that in this particular season, he was responsible for taking most of the free kicks, penalties and even corners from time to time. Ronaldo created more highlights in 1 year than a lot of legendary players couldn't, in a 4 or 5. There's so many fantastic goals scored by him in 1997 and 1998, and now we're going to look and analyze this ridiculous goal against Spartak Moscow in the UEFA Cup, just to see how unstoppable Fenomeno was in his prime. First, look at the condition of the pitch. This environment makes it a lot tougher for a player to be smooth and precise, whether it's dribbling, passing or shooting, but that's not a problem for the phenomenon. Second, look where the attack started. It started with a throw-in, about 40 meters far from the goal. Surely this can't be a dangerous situation. There's no way a striker can be a threat from this far. But, in the next 10 seconds, the Spartak players witnessed their whole defense being destroyed mostly by one man, and that's Ronaldo. After playing the 1-2, Ronaldo creates a dribble with his first touch, and with that one touch somehow he manages to go through 2 defenders, and of course, he decides to go past the goalkeeper, because he's Ronaldo and that's what he does. Otherworldly goal by an iconic football player. This Seedorf quote perfectly describes R9.
Answer that question without hesitation. During my whole career, for me, Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo, has been from a different species. Yeah, and that's because I've played against him when he was 18 in Holland, in Spain when we were 20, 21, and I played with him, and that's where you see the real stuff. And in training. Matches, yes, but when somebody can repeat the same thing whenever he wants, then it's not luck, for sure. But I think that nobody has been able to unite speed, strength, vision of the game, execution, and be concrete.
Ronaldo in his prime displaying his ridiculous strength by not even moving an inch after a horror tackle from the opposition player. Here are Ronaldo's individual awards for that year. Luis Nazario de Lima. Ronaldo will forever be known for being one of the greatest players in football's history. He didn't have the best career ever, but he's arguably the best player ever to step foot on a football pitch. We can only imagine what kind of a player he would have become if he was able to combine his pure talent and otherworldly athleticism, with his clinical finishing and decision-making which he developed while playing for Real Madrid. To end this documentary in the best way possible, here's some of his most spectacular skills and goals from his first season in Inter Milan.